why do you think, I mean, you have a lot of interactions with men and women at this time, that is so much a point or a problem?
Nowadays, in particular also when you consider the Swiss culture, which is more reserved, they don't talk anymore to each other. So it has become really a struggle for men to approach women, and also a crisis in connection, like a crisis in dating.
And I see also frustrated people saying, I deleted those apps and I don't want them anymore. So for me, it's the point is, if you do that, what's the alternative? Hello and welcome to the podcast from Nice to Sound. Today with me, I have Elena Sachs. We will discuss about a topic which is actually very close to my heart and also my social, let's say, environment. One of the topics that is very relevant also for Zurich, for Switzerland. We'll discuss about the urban social life and essentially about dating. So one of the topics that is very, very relevant also to everyone, especially in Zurich, is connection. And I think I have the right person next to me to discuss about. Thank you, Elena, for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Perfect. So my first question, I'm just diving in because I think it's a very relevant topic, and we have to start from the basics. Why do you think, I mean, you have a lot of interactions with men and women at this time, why is so much a point or a problem, let's say, social issue? Some will say a social crisis, let's say, especially in Zurich, the dating or matching itself.
Yes, so I think there's really different dynamics that play into this role at the moment, how society also develops, how also technology influences society and how people actually go on dates and how they approach dating. So when we look back 20 years ago or even more, people, they approached each other's men, they really took the initiative and they approached women in a bar or even in a supermarket. And nowadays, in particular also when you consider the Swiss culture, which is more reserved, they don't talk anymore to each other. So it has become really a struggle for men to approach women, and also a crisis in connection, like a crisis in dating.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, though it's happening very often, at least from my perspective, is we're talking right now a lot of work-life balance, mental health. You see, for every person, we need a mental coach, for example. Everyone is very much driven to performance. So one, of course, the consequences, it is that personal life will take a hit, obviously. So I really struggle to understand at some point how much of it is, a mental burden at the moment, or that creates this issue, or let's say this issue is being created because we are not having, let's say, this connection to the people anymore.
Yes, yeah, no, I think there's really both dynamics that play into this role. I mean, in particular also with the work-life balance, then people might prioritize work more. And of course, always when you prioritize something, this you bring into the energy. And if you don't bring into the energy, your energy into the relationship or into your private life, it will also not flourish. So it always needs the focus as well. So if you want to have a successful relationship, you need to focus as well on your relationship. But of course, on the same time, you have the pressure to also have a successful career, and at the same time you want to have this relationship. So it's a struggle, and of course it can be quite difficult to challenge both goals or to actually achieve both goals.
Yeah, of course. I think it is a give and take, right? It's a give and take. But on the other side, we see it. I mean, we live in Switzerland. We see them, let's say, socially, the impact. Let's say more in Switzerland, which you see there's one side of the comfort. I mean, there is that the market is flourishing in one side, but on the other side, we see also the statistics. Loneliness is increasing. There is a lot of alternatives to nurture for loneliness, but still people cannot come out of this boundary, let's say, of loneliness. They're just remaining there. So what's your take on that? Let's say, do you really see that also with your customers or with interactions that loneliness is a topic at the moment?
Yes, no, I would say definitely yes, and also for sure in each age bracket. So it's not only the young people who are lonely. I mean, in particular, also Generation Z. They really have. They really don't know anymore how to connect with someone because they all hide behind their screen, and they grew up with social media. So they grew up when they were really young already with their smartphone. So they have really not this ability anymore how to connect naturally. And then, of course, also if people get older, or when you look at older generations, there's the same issue because then also, for instance, dating apps came in, or people get divorced and they struggle to find someone new. There's a lot of dynamics that play into this, but I would say for sure, yes, society has become more lonely. Yes.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yes, yes.
We can see that anyway. I mean, you have so many courses, people try to jump into a community, let's say, I mean, from running clubs to, I don't know, whatever. Even the sports have become, let's say, a bridge to loneliness. Before, sports was just doing the sports for the sport's sake. Now, a lot of people doing sports for the connections itself, which of course brings other issues as well. But I think I feel it also here. Also, we're in a university campus. I mean, students, especially the younger generations, have exactly this struggle. But as you mentioned, they're hiding behind the screens. And of course, as medicine, everyone has, for the connection, a dating app.
Yes, no, that's very true. Yes, no, that's very true. And it doesn't necessarily help.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think statistics show that. I mean, we had discussed it before a little bit. And I hear it as well that the numbers go down. I mean, the people that actually engaging in dating apps, and I see also frustrated people saying, I deleted those apps and I don't want them anymore. But so for me, it's the point is, if you do that, what's the alternative?
Yes, so there's a lot of alternatives, and we see this at the moment because the dating app numbers has really declined over the last years.
Yeah.
So people, they go from online, they go back to offline dating and to connecting offline. So there we have different ways how people connect. We have events. So also in the event space, there's really an increase. People want to connect, as you say, in social events, but also in sport events. Yeah. But then we also do have dating events increasing. And of course, we also do have matchmaking. So for instance, in dating, if people want to connect, they also go to matchmakers because this is like really the old school offline dating.
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing that also as well. I was a little bit also saying, I thought matchmaking was something that we have gone over it.
Yes, yeah. It's a very old tradition.
Yes.
I mean, it comes also from Indian matchmaking, from Jewish matchmaking. So it's very old tradition. And then with the dating apps, people, they have forgotten that it exists, but then they saw that the dating apps doesn't necessarily bring them the result that they want because it's so difficult to connect via the apps, to find someone who's serious about dating, to find someone who is ready to engage in a serious relationship and ultimately find someone who is aligned with you.
Yeah.
And this, of course, can be easier found via matchmaking or offline dating.
Yeah, I think as well. I mean, I'm coming from this generation of people which actually we just surpassed, let's say, the apps time. And but I really recognize that, and working in IT myself,
yes,
I know, of course, the apps and the backend systems, and I know that AI is coming into the game. And I'm not really sure how this will help or make the problem. I mean, because you can see in the media, everyone, these companies want to include AI. So I'm not really sure if that will help to decrease the problem of losing, let's say, people in dating apps, or allowing people to match faster and more deeper, or it will actually divert them even more.
Yes, so I believe AI will have, of course, also a lot of benefits because, as we see also in other industries, it really helps to facilitate productivity, efficiency, and this will be the same for dating, or is actually already the same. So even for us, when we do the matchmaking, we have a system in the back that is also backed on AI. And of course, also the dating apps can use it to improve this efficiency in the matching or also compatibility, but of course, always only to a certain extent.
Yes, of course.
And for instance, also dating apps are not built to set up people on successful dates because they are actually built to remain people on them. So they really want to have this profit that people are on them and stay on them. So that's also another challenge, I would say, for the dating apps. But of course, AI will improve, but it will never substitute human because it can't substitute intuition. It also can't substitute the feedback and also the support that we really provide with a human basis. I think the human support can never substitute tutored by AI.
I think as well, but how much real are you when you have AI, let's say, pimping up your photos or making the text more catchier? Because this happens.
Yes, yeah.
And then you go out and perhaps you meet someone who is not that, catchy or not that spontaneous, not that matchy.
Yes.
So I think the balance should be more on the side, I want to remain still myself, right?
Yes, no, that's actually very true. And this is one of the most important parts in dating, that you stay authentic. And of course, even for a business text, right? If you write your LinkedIn post with AI, people will recognize it. So they see this is not written by a human, and ultimately it's not authentic. And authenticity is what really attracts people, and what attracts people to businesses, what attracts people also to their romantic partner. So that's why I truly believe it can never substitute. And of course, you also have to be careful to what extent you will use AI, or also you will use AI in dating.
Mm-hmm. Let me make another provocative question.
Yes.
So, assuming you were the CEO of Tinder or Bumble, you name it, what would you build in? Now that you're a matchmaker, you are dealing with that. So, what do you miss there?
Yes, so I believe what you clearly miss is that people, it's very difficult, because what you miss is actually that people who are on the dating apps, you don't know their intention. And this is very hard for an app to also filter people, because people can tell an app or technology, they will tell technology anything, but they will not tell a human anything, because for a human, they feel more responsible to tell them they are intentional about dating, they want to find a long-term partner. And for the apps, it's not the case. They can tell you they are looking for a long-term partner. They can tick the box on Bumble or on Hinge or on another dating app, but then in fact, they are actually not looking for something serious. And I think this uncertainty, if someone is also honest with you on the dating apps, is another big problem or issue for daters who are out there. But then what I definitely would build in is, for sure, more criteria to actually know who people are. Yes, basically to filter, because we don't know what the values of someone are when we are on the dating app.
But we don't still lie.
Yes, we can still like, but we don't know what kind of communication they value or what they think about family. So it's really very superficial, and it's often based on what interests the people have, and interests are not predictable for long-term relationship success. So that's a challenge, and that could be built in for sure.
Yeah, I think values is one of the biggest topics. Let's say I had this discussion before a couple of weeks also with a student, and said, okay, we need, and it was 60 years old, 60 to 26, the German numbers. Now, for me, was also the point is we have to come back to our, let's say, the values or the traditional way that we were, let's say, 20, 30 years before.
Yes.
That's what young generations sometimes verbally say, On the other side, they don't know what it is. They were not alive, let's say, at that time, or at least they were not conscious. So I don't think everyone, when we say we want to go back to previous values, not everyone understands the same thing here. So how do you manage or communicate that with the values topic? Because when you have, let's say, you have customers which are, let's say, seniors, that you have also acquaintances where are, of course, also younger, it's not the same, it's not the same meaning perhaps for both, or is it?
Yes, of course. I mean, scientifically, when you look at science, that's always important. So then you have the core values. So you can, for instance, also choose what are your 3 most important core values. And this can be something like loyalty, that can be communication, that can be family. But then you also have the values that are relevant for a compatible relationship. And what we always do when we check compatibility and analyze compatibility is really looking at those 5 key life values that are relevant for long-term relationship success. And these are the 5 values: family, career, religion, health, fitness, and finances. And when you look at these, and then the most 2 important ones, when they are aligned with your partner, it leads to long-term relationship success. And this is, of course, different from the core values that you might have, such as loyalty.
How much how much of a, let's say, an impact has the lifestyle? The lifestyle is it's a big question.
It's very important as well.
Because when we talk about lifestyle, also here a lot of people think completely things. I want to go to the mountains, I want to go to the nice restaurant. I mean, it is everything there. So the lifestyle is also something which is volatile. As soon as you grow up or you change your social status, whatever, it changes as well. So lifestyle, it is a point.
Yes, no, lifestyle is definitely as well important, and you want to make sure that you grow at a similar pace or develop yourself in the similar direction as your partner does. So as you say, for instance, if you are both earning well, then you might already have another lifestyle than if you are still a student. You might maybe not do that. But I mean, of course, it always depends. But ultimately with lifestyle, it's more about, for instance, do you share the same activity or energy level? So you just don't need to necessarily share the same hobbies, but if someone is sporty, wants to find probably someone who is also sporty and not someone who is only sitting at home. It's more about a broad lifestyle match, and also that you, for instance, enjoy the same places, the same holiday locations, because...
But let me be provocative here again.
Yes.
Usually they say, at least again in the science, that people who are not that let's say similar, they can match. Simple, like in biology.
Yes.
So now if I'm a home guy and a partner is super sporty, perhaps that is also something that I can be motivated, or she can also calm down, whatever.
Yes, no, absolutely. So differences are as well good. I mean, in particular in the hobbies, because then you can also challenge each other. But of course, it always needs to fit as well to the values. And then also, can you also cope with the other person's personality? Can you communicate well together? Can you manage conflict well? So there's a lot of different aspects that play into role, but the overstyle lifestyle need to match. But of course, there's also couples that maybe the partner does cycling on his own, and then the woman is sitting at home, and it's totally fine for her, because they both need also more independent time. Because then it's another question. It's the question of how much quality time you need with your partner, and if you don't need much, you can of course have more independent interests.
Now, if we think about back in Zurich region, or let's say in Switzerland itself, everything or a lot of things are very much performance driven. So you are in the job. We see also a lot of changes in the market, in the job market as well. That has, of course, a psychological impact to every person, especially if you are in a situation that you're single, or you're really trying to find the right mate for family or even for companionship. that has a huge impact, right? And sometimes, of course, if you're really in this performance part, independent if you're a man or woman, then ego starts builds up.
Yes, yes, I know what you mean, yeah.
So how do you cope to this dual life that you as a person have to live in the same 24 hours, so that you are strong, pushy in the markets, women especially as well, and at the same time going home and trust really need to shut down this part and really calm down and try to connect, although you until the last 10 hours you were running like a horse.
Yes, no, I believe it's very important here that people are not so hard on themselves, so nobody is perfect, and also that your partner is not so harsh on you when you're tired from work, and then maybe she or he needs to understand that now you are just not able to talk or to communicate or discuss a certain topic because you're ultimately exhausted.
Yeah.
So I believe this understanding for the other person, that there's a lot of aspects and things going on in each of our lives, having this understanding for the person, and also accepting that they cannot always fulfill our needs. So they need to fulfill ultimately, of course, your needs over time, but not at all times.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes,
That's a really good point. But now, based on your experience, right, where does the biggest problem lie? Is it we're going with checklists, or is our ego, or is both so heavy that actually creates this social dizziness, let's say, in this urban life?
Yeah, I think the checklist, I think this checklist is a big topic, and I believe this is really true for a lot of people who are long-term single, because they have ultimately also unrealistic standards, because they believe they are themselves so great. And yes, of course they are great, but nobody is perfect, and it's not so relevant if the other person has a certain income or has a certain height or certain hair color. So then we really have to go back and think what is actually really important for you in the relationship and in your connection. And then, of course, I believe the checklist criteria is important, but then also the paradox of choice. So because if we have so much choice, we always think, is there someone better out there? And is there someone better?
The fear of missing out.
Exactly, the fear of missing out. This is really also a big issue, that people don't know how to actually commit.
Yeah, I think one of the things that just, again, I'm not really sure if it is like that. I mean, it's not that there's a super offering out there. I mean, therefore, you're saying is it's full of options. I'm not really sure if you really know yourself too much and you know what you want for yourself. Like in a dating app, for example, you have already pre-filtered, let's say, what is possible or what you are interested to. So the fact itself, that's a lot of options there, I think it is merely or partially illusional.
No, it's actually not really illusional, because we have so many million single in the world. And it's about mindset as well, because we teach also our clients to have this abundance mindset, because then you're also more secure in your relationship, you're more secure and calm in yourself. And of course, you don't match with thousands of people, but you match with several people. So you can have a soulmate, you can have several soulmates. It's not that you can only have one soulmate, but you only choose to marry one soulmate.
All right.
So this is a big difference. Yeah.
And now I think one of the things that we see socially as well, and it's also, especially if you are in an environment like Zurich, which has its comfort, let's say, or Switzerland in these terms, you can concentrate on your, you have your two domains in life. Then I think one of the things is, I wanted to say, of course, there's a different type of relationship that's have started to spear up. I mean, which we didn't have before. So open relationship, multi, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And on one side, we say there is abundance, there is too many people, but at the same time, out of the blue have sparked out out types of relationships that we didn't have before.
Yes, no, that's very true.
How do we deal with this?
Yes, yeah, that's very true. And that's why it's so important that we find someone who is aligned with us, because also already the open relationship, you cannot have an open relationship if you want to have a serious relationship or monogamous relationship. So then, of course, there's people who you already select out, and you will not connect with them based on their understanding how relationships work. And that's actually very important. And you will know quite quick when you speak to people. For instance, in matchmaking, we only work with monogamous people. So then we already filtered out everyone else. But also when you meet someone at an event or through friends, you will know also quite quick.
Yeah, I think it is relevant because I think there's also confusion from people.
Yes.
I've heard it also very often.
Yeah.
What is it
Yes,
in general?
that's true. Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's good that you put it straight here. I think it's relevant for me. It's a little bit strange as well to understand how the dynamics work in general. I think anyway that these are byproducts of let's say of socially being lonely, let's say, and then there are these versions, let's say, of relationships comes as byproducts of loneliness, for example, not only of the incapability of people being able to match.
Yeah, I believe that also the different forms of relationships also do stem from actually also online, so from the development of social media.
Yes.
Because people get shown in so many different ways what is possible, and always when you can imagine something, then you maybe think you want to try that. And that's how society develops in different direction, because there's not only one thing that is conform anymore, because previous times it was very conform to have a monogamous marriage.
Yeah.
And then it was more conform to get divorced. Then we have more divorce. And now it's more conform to have different kind of relationships understanding.
Yeah.
So then people, they choose, yeah.
Now I'm coming back to the topic now. I mean, you're now in matchmaking, for example, but also in matching in general. Do now people, I mean, try to find a soulmate and get married, have a family? Because we see also on the same side, we see 65%, 70% divorce rates. So it's a little bit also the numbers don't match. I mean, the will of people is I want to have a marriage, I want to be with someone forever, and love is in the air. But at the same time, we have 65, 70% divorces.
Yes, no, very true. And I mean, in particular, when we consider the children question, I believe there's also the same society development in society. I mean, we also see the numbers that there's less children, I mean, in particular also in the Western world. And this also comes, of course, from women being more career-driven, women being more independent. But the people we work with, they are most of the times very family-oriented. So we work with 95% people who want to have children or already have children.
All right.
Yes,
I mean, because
yes.
it is a topic, I would say.
Yes,
and
that's true.
And we can see this. It is, let's say, always a point where people discuss. And so I think dating apps give exactly this open door for, let's say, connection, fast connection. I bet it's fast food connection, as sometimes you get hungry again.
True.
And then you have also the offline that's much more, let's say, it has a basis to develop. Now, you mentioned before social media. And social media has an impact, of course. It's not like dating apps, but it's for me like a stage where people are getting emancipated, let's say, or indoctrinated how they want, let's say, their life to be.
Yes,
Through a mirror, who's actually most of the time is not really real.
Yes, no, that's true. It's actually a lot. I mean, even we see it. It starts with the filters. People think this is how pretty, how beauty actually looks like, and it's not possible because it's a filter.
And it creates these effects.
Yes.
I mean, you see. personally, you can see this correlation as well. The rise of social media with the mental illnesses and the mental burdens that people have to sustain is because they have an open world of, as you mentioned, fantasy or a fairy tale that might be not true, but still they can fantasize something that they would like to have. And at the same time, faking it in social media at the same time, it gives you the confidence that this is my reality, because it is in media.
That's true, and it's also very difficult or challenging for relationships, because, for instance, if you portray your relationship on social media, everything looks always perfect. Social media is always a perfect world, but no reality is perfect. There's always like some downsides, some challenges, some difficulties, and this is sometimes what creates also this pressure in society. I mean, not only in dating, but also in their in career, in their family, what friends they should have. So in all different dimensions, and it's definitely more a society challenge of society.
Yeah, but now you as a matchmaker, I mean, you offer to your clients, of course, exactly this introduction, let's say, to specific, let's say, a specific pool of people who actually have taken the decision consciously to go through that, and they do it, let's say, professionally. So what is, I mean, this is, as you mentioned, an offline channel of dating, let's say, or mating. So what do you think is of course the advantage of doing it, let's say, with a matchmaker, rather than saying, I'm offline, it's also bar, as you mentioned, or doing it with matchmaker?
So, I mean, in comparison to offline, I mean, in the wild, in a bar, of course, you save time, because in the bar, you don't know if this person is compatible. And if you go to a matchmaker, they will be compatible in terms of your values, personality, lifestyle. And then, of course, you still need to feel if you can develop attraction and a romantic connection. But yes, you save time, and this means also you go more on quality dates than on quantity, because still in real life or events, you don't know if the person could be actually a match.
Yeah, no.
So a lot of people choose it for the saving time.
Yeah, I mean, time is of an essence, right? I mean, if you grow older, I mean, everyone is growing older, not? And I think there is the point where you say, okay, now I want something serious. Perhaps you've were in a sea of the job and you were swimming there, and time drifts. It's to everyone. No, everyone has been there. So being cautious with the time, of course, it's matchmaking myself as, I think, a very good, let's say, option to do it, let's say, consciously and focused. I think, and I'm really interested to understand a little bit from your side. Now, matching, I mean, you have a big scale, let's say, also from the age of the customers.
Yes,
I mean, I would think, okay, then it's the midlife crisis. But when you said to me, it's all the levels, so I wanted to understand why.
Yes, no, it's really also already very young people. So people in their 20s, they already come to us, and then until they are over 70. So it's really a wide range. And I believe it is because really of this connection crisis that we have, that people don't know anymore how to connect. And they have such pressure in society to fulfill all the criteria and to have a happy life and to be this and that. So I think it comes all together that they really struggle and they need more help, and they also want to have someone more human, someone more personal. So they really want to go back to this human support.
And I like it also, especially in you, that they say, when we discussed also before, you try to ground these people before going to this step. So, hey, some things doesn't matter as much as you think, so that you really focus on what is relevant in doing that, rather than, I'm trying to find you exactly the filters that you have in Bumble, Hinge, or whatever. I'm trying to find it in another setup, let's say. So I think that is a huge advantage as well, to make people conscious before they do this step.
Yes, exactly. I mean, first of all, with the criteria, but then people also do have false beliefs around relationships. So, for instance, they would think that you have to have immediately a spark or connection with someone, but actually you don't need to, because most of the relationships who are successful long term are scientifically proven to have not this very first spark. They develop really slowly and gradually. So it's more this slow dating.
Yeah,
so
but people have no patience anymore. You know that as
yes,
well.
no, they have to have this patience, and I believe there's more of these beliefs. There's not only this false belief, and so we have to educate also people what a relationship means, how you have successful relationships, how you manage conflicts.
Yeah, I mean, that's not easy to do, but I think that's a great step always in the beginning, and I think you're doing it great. So I have a last question for you. So if you just, I mean, you are in your business, you're in the market, you understand also how the social dynamics work. What do you think will be the future? Let's say, I mean, is it 5-10 years? Are we going back to as very, very traditional values? How do you think it's going to, I mean, because I have, of course, a perspective from the technology side, now that we were stuck in our phones, the smart glasses are coming, I have a different view of how dating might be in the future. So what do you think in 5-10 years will be relevant?
Yeah, no, I believe, of course, technology and AI will shape dating even more, and I don't predict necessarily a positive development. So, because I mean, we see it also in, for instance, in Asia, you can even rent a boyfriend or rent a girlfriend. And then, I mean, this starts with humans, but then you would also rent robots. And I think there's a development as well into this direction that there's this part of society that will go away from the human, but then you have also the other part that really needs it even more, because they see this development that they really want more the human connection and more as well this personalized service, or also need for a serious and real human relationship. But of course, there is technology challenges.
They will remain.
Yes,
we're here to solve, and
hopefully
you will support and escort, let's say, the people over the years, let's say, on this venture, let's say, that they have, or the journey that they have, because I think it is a service that, I mean, there are people who are very introverts as well, and they need it. I mean, even if you are in an app, you can still hide behind the app, but at some point you have to go out. So I think every part of the puzzle is needed, let's say, to tackle this crisis that actually exists. Because to me, it is a social crisis.
No, absolutely, it's a social connection crisis, true.
Yeah, for this point there, I have to thank you, Elena, for being here, and it was really blessed to get all this information for you. I hope it was also fine for you and you enjoyed it as well.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much as well. And let's stay in touch as well, also in our channel, but also follow Elena. Elena is also it's giving updates, and also gives also a lot of inputs of how to date, and also gives also a lot of information regarding pitfalls that happen also in dating. So yeah, I hope to see you in the next podcast. Have a good one. Thank you very much.